sharp toy at a price that's really low. Not at the zoo, but here's a thought for you. There's a really great place to go. KB Toy Store. We got the toys and the price you're looking for.
KB's got great prices on LJN's interactive video games for Nintendo. Exciting games that bring action and adventure to your living room.
KB Toy Store. We got the toys and the price you're looking for.
Nobody beats the Wiz.
What could be more exciting than the opening of a new Wiz store? A double-barreled grand opening. The Wiz is opening 2 new superstores at once. This Thursday, meet Hall of Famer Mickey Mantle at the Wiz in the Bay Plaza Shopping Center in the Bronx. Also Thursday, say hello to Islanders superstar Pat LaFontaine at our new store in the Gateway Plaza in Patchogue. All 27 Wiz stores celebrate the double-barreled grand opening of our 2 new locations in the Bronx and Patchogue.
Credit cards. In today's world, they're a must. But what if you've had past credit problems? And how do you get a card if you've never had credit before?
You can now receive a Visa and MasterCard by calling the number on your screen. Anyone can apply regardless of past credit history, even bankruptcy. It's better than cash and backed by a federally insured banking institution. Call now and enjoy the privileges and benefits of a Visa and MasterCard. Do it now. Call today.
Every Wednesday, A stands for Action and Adventure, with 2 exciting episodes of the A-Team. This Wednesday night at 8.
I'm going to show these guys what a weekend in the country is really like.
It could be the perfect weekend of R&R for the team. But when armed robbers bring danger to the park ranger, it becomes the A-Team's most daring rescue ever. And there's more A-Team at 9. The boys are making a monster movie.
Action!
It's 2 explosive episodes of the A-Team, Wednesday nights on Channel 9.
When you wish upon a star, your dream comes true.
Night thoroughbred racing at the Meadowlands.
Introducing the Casio Tone Bank keyboards. For an amazingly affordable price, Casio gives you over 200 sounds. One of them a lifelike piano. The Tone Bank by Casio. Technology that's state-of-the-art art.
There's a new generation at the Daily News.
I find my best stories out on the street.
Mike McAlary.
Wait a minute. You sure about that?
Bob Herker.
On my way.
New voices that will take you to places you can't ordinarily go, to meet people you won't ordinarily see.
There's a new generation at the Daily News. New York's hometown paper.
Tomorrow morning at 7:20, 98.7 KISS FM will give you the chance to win the $1 Million Dash for cash. Don't oversleep.
He's got 98.7 seconds to grab Kiss Cash! He's gonna be rich!
7:20 on the KISS FM Wake Up Club.
Time for the $1 Million Dash for Cash payoff song.
Winning is easy, so wake up! Details at 7:20 tomorrow morning on 98.7 KISS FM.
Oh, never shall sun that morrow see. Your face, my thane, is as a book where men may read strange matters. To beguile the time, look like the time, they're welcome. It must be time for Rollins Smith.
It must be time for Rollins Smith. Weeknights at 10 on Channel 9 News.
The world's largest auto line is celebrating Thanksgiving by guaranteeing you a minimum trade-in of $11.49 for that old truck you're driving right now, or it's a purchase of any new or used car, truck, and stock. Check out these great deals. This 1989 Dodge Daytona two-door hatchback for just $99 a month, or this 1989 Dodge Shadow three-door liftback coupe for just $87 a month. Pick up the wishbone, dial 1-800-AUTOLAND. Or better yet, come down to Autoland, take the best drive, receive a free turkey for your table. Come on down, let's talk turkey. Bubba Bubba.
These are works of genius. Shakespeare, Melville, the Genesis from Chinon. That's what the critics are saying. Remarkable, said Popular Photography. Full of advanced engineering, says Time magazine. The Genesis is the first autofocus SLR zoom camera that combines point-and-shoot simplicity with SLR creativity. Grasp the genius of Genesis.
Are you single, widowed, or divorced? Whether you're looking for that special companion or a serious relationship, call us. We're Together, the nation's largest personal introduction service that's been bringing people just like you together for 11 years now. With over 55 offices nationally and more on the way, we've helped a lot of people get together. Call for an appointment today. Offices in Massapequa, Long Island, Astoria, Queens, and Westport, Connecticut.
What's happening to this man could actually happen to you. And you may even enjoy it. It's 4 non-stop hours of the Stooges at their Stoogiest. Be a part of the insanity. Channel 9's Three Stooges Marathon, beginning Friday afternoon at 1 o'clock.
After studying the administration's views on world affairs, I began living by the concept of strength through superior military power. That's why I bought my new GMC Jimmy. It's got a very peppy engine and lots of room at the top, which makes it a wonderful mobile unit for transporting my little old intercontinental ballistic missile. After all, you never know when the neighbors are going to act up.
You can talk about it, think about it, or you can do it. At Jack LaLanne.
What's the hottest gift for men this year?
The minute I saw it, it was like, this is perfect for Steve. My brother's gonna freak when he sees I got it for him.
It's a hilarious video cassette. The very best of the football follies. 44 minutes of some of the all-time craziest football bloopers ever.
He can watch that kind of stuff over and over again. The bloopers, the fumbles, he really likes it.
And best of all, you get it free with your paid subscription to Sports Illustrated. Call their toll-free Christmas hotline now and get 55 issues of SI at a low Christmas sale price, over 55% off the cover price.
Easiest Christmas shopping I've ever done.
Your gift includes exclusive previews and exciting issues, like the 25th anniversary swimsuit issue.
I'd love to get SI this Christmas, and I hope my girlfriend Kelly is watching.
It's the perfect gift for any man. There's even a card for under the tree, all for just 99 cents per issue. You won't be billed till next year, and get the videotape free. Call 1-800-621-4900.
You won't see this, Willie. Well, honey, Merry Christmas.
The one line is New York's hottest party line, 550-1111. Feel the excitement of New York. Dial 550-1111. More people to speak to, crystal clear connections, and still at a low, low price. For New York Expressions Party, it's the one line to call, 550-1111. Still just 20 cents the first minute, 10 cents each additional minute. Available 24 hours a day.
It's never too late to make it better.
Jordache Basics.
Choice. Choose your own way. Jordache Basics ain't your mama's blue jeans. These jeans make you feel good. Jordache Basics, very blue jeans.
Dianetics by L. Ron Hubbard. Buy your copy at B. Dalton's, Walden Books, or wherever paperbacks are sold. A fresh look at today's problems.
Welcome, everyone. Happy Tuesday. I hope everybody's doing well. I hope everybody's having a good week so far. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. So we're doing a little, because, guys, I know some of you guys are like, whoa, well, what's going on with the reviews? What has the Glairer stopped reviewing people? Is he just true crime now? What the hell is going on here? I thought he was going to make fun of JLR and PHB and all these people. Well, I'm still going to do that, but believe it or not, sometimes crazy, this is and has always been, to some degree, a true crime channel. So when there's developments in cases, especially one that I talked about a lot when it happened, like the Gabby Petito case, then there's we have to give those updates. And I think that this is a very significant update. And yes, depending on how much time is left, we'll see what we can do. Okay, we'll see if we can get a little silly. We'll just relax, okay? But we'll see what happens. Just relax. One way or the other, the stuff will get reviewed. It always does. I haven't forgotten about our friends. But crazy concept is I actually like to share information, like new information, when it appears. Kind of crazy. But yeah. So there's apparently what's going on here. There was anybody who knows anything about and has been even remotely involved in the true crime community in the last year. They're familiar with the Gabby Petito case, and it is Pam Washington, welcome. It is the case that introduced us, actually, ironically, to JLR and BHB. They got my attention because I was already reviewing MGL here and there, and and then I just was already aware of MGL and what she's capable of and what she does. And then sure enough, there's people in front of the Laundrie's house. Well, then MGL just has to show up there and cause a scene. And then there, lo and behold, is where she meets JLR, where she meets BHB, and then this toxic friendship that has possibly cost Summer Wells any chance of being found, or has cost her parents any chance of getting any answers, and cost anybody who cares about whatever happened to Summer any chance of any answers, possibly because of their and not just them, but their antics and their being so prone to misinformation and spreading misinformation. So yeah, so kind of, the Gabby Petito thing kind of brought all of that into fruition. But basically, Gabby Petito had gone missing. The whole world was wondering what was going on. She had made this very beautiful video. She was a social media influencer, and she made this very beautiful video of her on vacation because she and her boyfriend at the time, Brian Laundrie, were deciding to go and explore the country via van life, right? And those of you who don't know what van life is, it is exactly what it sounds like, where people just live out of a van because it's very cheap. You save money on hotel rooms, and things of that nature, and you, I believe they ate a lot of granola to save money, but the idea was to explore and see the country on their terms, and I think it's kind of a rite of passage for young people to do that. My brother did this through Europe when he graduated college, and it's a very it's a very common thing for people Gabby and Brian's age to do. But unfortunately, what was going on is behind the wonderful and happy videos that were being posted, there was what appears to be a very abusive relationship, which turned out to be result in Gabby's demise at the hands of Brian. And he is, in my personal opinion, he lived and died as a coward. And I realize that some people are going to be like, "Oh my God, Blair, how could you be so harsh because he killed himself?" Blah blah blah. Aren't you sympathetic to those who struggle or suffer from depression and end up taking the suicide route and blah blah blah? Well, yes, I do, but I also I don't sympathize with him because this is somebody who took an escape in order to avoid consequences, to avoid earthly consequences for his actions and what he did to somebody that he claimed to love. So no, he does not get my respect, even beyond this life. This person does not get my respect. And feel however you want to feel about that. I personally don't really honestly give a shit. But yeah, that guy sucks. He lived sucking and he died sucking. And in my opinion, his parents enabled it. Now, do I feel bad for them that they lost their son? Absolutely, sure. But we're going to get into more of that. But yes, I do empathize with them that they lost their kid. I can't imagine what that is like. I can't imagine what that feels like. But I have my personal opinions, and I am not afraid to express them here on this channel, and you will be hearing them. But so I like to use WFLA News, being a Florida native, and I like JB and Team Brittany's in the house. She's a moderator for WFLA. So when you see JB live, you'll see a little blue Team Brittany. You see a green one here, but you'll see a blue one over there, and it's got a little blue wrench next to it. And so now a lot of people are wording this, and this is no fault to them at all. You know, a lot of people are wording it because technically it's true. It's not misinformation, but technically it's true, where you have people who are wording it like Roberta Laundrie speaks out. Well, okay. I guess technically she kind of did, but it wasn't designed to appease the masses. It was not designed to pacify us. It was not designed to throw us a bone. It's merely a court motion. This letter that everyone was so curious about, that we heard rumors about, that we've never actually seen. This letter apparently contained references to disposing of a body and shovels and the I guess she wraps up the letter saying burn after reading. So obviously this is very, very suspicious, and I honestly don't blame anybody. Now, this is what's interesting, because a lot of the time I'll be like, man, you crazy people, you all are so nutty, jumping to these crazy conclusions. That doesn't mean anything, and I stand by that. It doesn't necessarily mean that they had knowledge and that this letter was written in reference to what happened to Gabby Petito at the hands of Brian. It doesn't necessarily mean that, but at the same time, considering their behavior during this entire ordeal, their lack of any type of empathy towards Gabby's immediate family and her parents. This is a very troubling behavior coming from them. And you know, they immediately lawyer up. It's become public knowledge that the Laundries refused to cooperate with investigators, and then they lawyered up. But we're going to listen to something because I like to listen to law enforcement, or at least experienced law enforcement agents, even if they are retired, especially if they're retired, as a matter of fact, if I'm being totally honest, because, you know, they have nothing to lose by giving their opinions on these things and how the FBI would normally handle things like this. And there is the live stream where JB had Jennifer Coffindaffer, who's a retired FBI agent, and she was very opinionated on this situation. So we're gonna play that a little bit.
But I have it confirmed from both sides that this letter does in fact exist because it was collected as FBI evidence. A letter that was authored by Roberta Laundrie, meant for Brian Laundrie. And this is the letter that was encased in some sort of an envelope of some kind. It said on it, "Burn after you read this." That was basically, in essence, the big letters that were the big message tied to this letter. And the letter, as it has been revealed through court documents, is that this letter contained details about a shovel and helping bury a body. Now, this goes back to when this story was the story across the country, when people were gravitating towards this story, people who believed that the Laundries were well aware of everything that was going on and that they weren't talking, and it was for the reason of that they knew so much and they didn't want to say what they knew. Of course, that they were dealing with everything that was going on in real time with Brian Laundrie's disappearance, and then, of course, when his remains were found. But the big thing here is that this letter does in fact exist. It was FBI evidence. The FBI collected this evidence over the course of their investigation, a letter that Roberta is said to have wrote to Brian. And we hope to get this letter at some point, just like we got the confession from Brian Laundrie, the 8 pages in the notebook. But this letter that Roberta wrote to Brian that says something about a shovel and helping bury a body. Stephen Bertolino, the attorney for the Laundrie family.
Now, see, that's very interesting
to us.
See, that's very interesting because there's no way to tell. What we're going to see is a letter addressed to the court from Roberta Laundrie explaining how that or why that letter should not even be admitted into evidence. But why is she so worried about it? You know what I mean? Like, why go through all the trouble? So but at the same time, you got to understand this doesn't necessarily reflect guilt or innocence on their part. Okay, on Roberta's part, and I don't even know Brian's dad's name, but this doesn't reflect any guilt on them necessarily. You have to understand that in a civil suit, 90% of the time, the person being sued has an attorney, and when you're paying ass loads of money, and let me tell you, because lawyers aren't cheap, when you are paying ass loads of money for legal advice, you're going to follow that legal advice. You're going to get what you're paying for. So I guarantee you that she writing that letter was told to her to do so by her attorney. I doubt that she had any intention or even want to write the letter. I remember when I was when I was dealing with a court situation, I remember my attorney, and I was paying for this attorney with money that I just did not have, and it was really expensive, but you better believe that I was going to do everything that he told me to do. And someone on my side of things had to write a letter to the judge. The judge requested this. I remember my attorney just calling me up and saying, "Hey, this is what I'm going to need." Okay. All right. So understand that this isn't some desperate thing that where Roberta was like, "Oh my God, what do I do? They're going to enter this thing into evidence, this letter, and I better jump and get ahead of this and write a letter to the judge." That's not what happens. I guarantee you that that's not what happened in that case.
Us, so just check my phone, make sure I'm not getting any text messages from anybody watching the stream right now. Stephen Bertolino has communicated to us that the letter does exist. They do have it. It's still in their possession. It hasn't been destroyed. It's of course, it's been mentioned in this lawsuit that exists between the two families, but that the letter itself doesn't have anything to do with the Gabby Petito case, and that it predates everything. And I asked very specifically to Pat Riley, the attorney for...
And that's an interesting thing, because there's no way to actually prove. There's no way to actually prove that the letter has anything to do with Gabby's case unless she specifies Gabby's name in the letter, right? They could be talking about anybody, you know? There could be circumstantial evidence that suggests it, like, you know, the blonde girl, you know what I mean? The blonde girl that lived with us, you know, there could be stuff like that, but there's no way to actually prove that this had anything to do with Gabby's case whatsoever. Unless, like I said, there's definitive evidence in the letter that states her by name. You know, there's just no way to do it.
Where the Petito and Schmidt families, is there any date or any mention specifically of Gabby Petito or anything that tells us what time frame this was written in? And the answer is no.
Mm-hmm.
So the FBI had this evidence.
Mm-hmm.
And the question is, people have been asking me repeatedly on social media when I post about this story, is that why the FBI didn't pursue charges against Chris and Roberta Laundrie, the mother and father of Brian.
I mean, that's the question everybody's asking, right? Everybody wants to know, like, if this letter exists and it has something to do with Gabby, why weren't charges brought up against them? Because there was a lot of speculation that the Laundries not only were aware of what Brian did, but also helped him and facilitated him escaping this world. Covered for him and just just respected his decision to hide out in the woods and off himself. Now, based on their behavior, is it fair to speculate that? Absolutely. In my opinion, absolutely. But I don't think I mean I don't think that the mom would be that stupid. You know, I believe dad's a lawyer himself. So they were very, very careful about how they worded things and how they would connect themselves. They know that all you got to do, lawyer the fuck up and don't talk. Period. That's it. At this point, you're invoking your Fifth Amendment right to just, you know, if they come up with something and they find some sort of evidence that they feel that they can get a conviction on, then they'll be charged with something along the lines of aiding and abetting or whatever. But unless law enforcement can find definitive proof that's going to get them convicted if they ever have to go to court, well, then they're not even going to bother charging them.
Of Brian.
Well, this was the problem, I believe. Currently, they need to show a preponderance of the evidence. And this letter in and of itself should push them over. It was very convenient that there was no date on that letter. So Mr. Bertolino can again shuck and jive and try to say that that letter related to something that had nothing to do with Gabby.
Right there. See, again, all you have to do is create doubt. The accuser, the burden of proof is on the accuser. And if the defense, or if, and I realize this is a civil case, but what she's referring to is, why weren't they charged? Basically what I was talking about before. And she's basically saying that unless they can prove in court, well, then they're not even going to bother charging them.
Petito, even though it says burn after reading, and even though she was murdered viciously, and it involved a shovel, and it's just ridiculous, honestly. But the Bureau and the prosecution team, the United States Attorney, would have had to prove beyond any doubt.
There you go. Beyond any doubt that that was about Gabby. They'd have to prove that. And if they can't, they're not going to charge them. That's what these people that act like they know the law and they don't seem to understand.
And my question would be, was this letter even ever given to Brian Laundrie? Did it end up in his hands?
Let's say it didn't. Let's say it didn't. Let's say the FBI uncovers this evidence.
See, that's another
it's
factor
a letter
right
that
there.
Roberta meant to give to her son.
Did he ever even read the letter? Is there ever any proof that Brian Laundrie read that letter? I mean, just having possession of it doesn't prove that. And all the Laundrie's attorney would have to say is, well, did you see him read the letter? Have you seen any evidence that he read the letter, or any text messages acknowledging the letter? Anything that would tell this jury or this judge that he read the letter? So again, unless they can prove these things, they're not going to bother arresting.
Son Brian, and it contains details about a shovel and the burying of a body, even if it's not delivered to Brian. Is that people would ask, well, isn't that proof that they were aware of Gabby's murder all along, and that they were, withholding information from investigators and so on and so forth?
Well, certainly that they were withholding information, certainly that they had knowledge, but they are entitled to their Fifth Amendment right.
Exactly.
And they never made false statements to law enforcement.
Now, this is a retired FBI agent saying that, of course, they had knowledge. We know they had knowledge. We know that they withheld information. But the problem is that you can't necessarily, you can't, they have the right to remain silent. So unless you're going to charge me, my lips are sealed. Now, if they have come up with proof in some way, shape, or form, I understand that. That's when they would arrest. And guess what? They're still not going to admit to anything. But, that's just something we're going to have to accept. Nobody wants to accept this. Why? Why aren't they charged? Why aren't they in jail? We know they knew. Knowing, yes. And withholding that information technically is against the law. But there's no way to prove it. Because all they did was keep quiet. They lawyered up. They invoked their right to remain silent and to have an attorney. And that's all you need to do. Because again, the burden of proof is on the accuser.
Enforcement. If they would have, we'd be, I believe they would have been charged, but they never said anything.
Right.
And so therefore the charge just didn't exist to charge just based on that letter.
If the FBI has the evidence and they believe that a crime was committed and they have the evidence that concludes that a crime was committed, they're going to proceed with charges, right? I mean, the fact
100%.
that they had this evidence in their possession and then discharged it back to Stephen Bertolino, who gave it back to the families or still has it in his possession, as I understand it. So that there's no, they were going to, if they could have proceeded with criminal charges, they would have.
Exactly. If you know, Dick Ludwig, who was my mentor for 10 years, old crusty Hoover guy. And
crusty old Dick.
When I first studied underneath him, if you will, first came up as a baby agent underneath him.
Such a child.
He would call me into his office when I had a case and you know, predicated that I thought we should move forward on. And he'd tell me, listen, you know, you go get the CFRs, go get the law. And we would break down each aspect of the law that, based on the predication of the facts I had, related to that law. And that's what some people don't understand. You have to go back to the law, whether it's harboring, whether it's aiding and abetting, which were the possibilities in this case, accessory, conspiracy. You need to look up each of those and then ask yourself, based on just this letter, did that meet the legal standard in those possible crimes? And in this case, it did not.
So here she is saying that she had this mentor, this dude named Dick, who's all old and crusty. She had this, sorry, that's beside the point. She had this mentor in the FBI, is an old Hoover guy. And he said, well, go get the book. You know, like, let's see if we can actually get a conviction on this. This was their method. This is what she's explaining, is her and Krusty Dick used to get like technical. Like, they would not even bother wasting their time even bothering with an arrest unless they saw in the book that they could actually get a conviction. If a law was broken and they can prove it, that's it.
Let's we have to wrap up our live stream here shortly. But the other question that I get all the time, and I'll bring up Sue's comment here on screen, and talking about the Laundries and a conviction. But here's the thing: the Laundries, up until this point, make this very clear, the Laundries have, Chris and Roberta have never been faced with a charge. They've never been charged with anything in relation to the Brian Laundrie investigation, the Gabby Petito investigation. But people have also asked me, Jennifer, this civil lawsuit, the civil trial is looming, and people are interested, of course, in the evidence that gets presented at trial. And people have asked me all the time, if in a civil trial, if evidence is brought to light that is criminal in nature, can the FBI reopen the investigation and proceed with criminal charges against, just in general? Not even just with this case, just in general.
If there were something new that came forward as a part of this proceeding, absolutely it could be used. And I do want to also say, I think the Petito and Schmitz have a great case, and I just hope justice is served in.
Right. Okay. Yeah. And just to catch up real quick, there is a current civil suit against the Laundries filed by the Petitos and the Schmitz. And I don't blame them at all. They want justice, and the way that these people behaved, it's possible that they could have saved her life. We don't know what type of things that they witnessed while she was living in their house. It's obvious that they're going to defend their son. It's obvious that they're going to protect their son. We've seen this behavior from them. So it's not crazy to think that while she was living in their house, they would take his side, and God knows what would happen. Now, I'm not sure that they saw anything. I'm just speculating. If you live under the same roof with people, young people, and he seems to kind of run how things go in the house and gets away with whatever he wants. And his parents tend to coddle him and you know, basically spoil him, is what it seems. It's probably safe to assume that he probably didn't hold back in his arguing and name calling and things of that nature under their roof in front of them, and probably told them to mind their own business. And who knows, you know, or maybe they didn't see anything. But it's clear that they will do anything to protect their son. And I don't know if they knew that Brian was going to retire into the woods and take his own life, but I'm of the opinion that they should have expected this. They should have considered this to be a possibility, because a lot of people are doing this now. Okay. A lot of people are thinking, well, this all bears the question. There's the choice where it's protect my kid or turn him in, right? And then a lot of people are thinking, well, I don't know if I'd turn my kid in. Understandable. I'm not judging anybody for that, but it would be completely irresponsible to not consider the fact, this is a fact, that by making the choice of protecting their kid, they didn't consider everything that was putting Gabby's family through, because they have a right to protect their kid too. So we can't forget that. We have to take into consideration the fact that the Petitos, the Schmidts, have just as much of a right to protect their kid as much as the Laundries have a right to protect theirs. And they were robbed of that. So as far as this case goes, as far as this civil lawsuit goes, without knowing all the details, I believe them to be correct. I believe them to be right. So
in this case, JB, because that's a family, and particularly Nikki, who I've communicated with against it. I can't imagine bearing the burden she's had to bear, which is the loss of her daughter and the grace which this family has
to
handled.
be specific, I believe the Petitos and the Schmidts are in their rights to want justice from the Laundrie family. I think that they were wronged, to say the least, in how they handled this case for them, for the Schmidt, or the Schmidts and the Petitos. I realize Perfect Fosters is asking, who is they? Because I wasn't being specific. But yes, I do believe that the Petitos and the Schmidts have every right to that's also a possibility. That I wouldn't say that he took his life because of the protests necessarily, but the protests could have very well been a factor involved in the decision that he made to take his own life. But I believe these parents should have seen that coming. I do believe that these parents could have saved their son's life by doing the right thing and teaching him to consider how his actions would affect Gabby's family, and teaching him to be a man and face it, instead of coddling to him and helping him hide, just trying to protect him, because even if he's saying, well, I'll turn myself in this time or this time or this time, that wouldn't be good enough for me. I would have to say no. You need to get in front of this as quick as possible. You know, you need to get in front of this as quick as possible, because there are some choices that a parent is going to make that their kid, and it's going to be a choice that they make regarding their kid, and their kid just isn't going to understand. That's inevitable, because by turning him in, they would have been protecting him. There's a very, it's fair to say that the likelihood is great that if they had turned their son in, if the Laundries had turned Brian in, he would still be alive today. It's very fair to feel and have that opinion. I'm not saying that that's fact, but I'm saying it's fair to have that opinion and feel that way. And yeah, scared of prison, whatever. And honestly, I think he's just the type to feel sorry for himself and play victim. And I think that his parents fed into this. I think he used feeling sorry for himself as a manipulation tactic with his parents. That's the kind of person that he strikes me as when I watch those body cam videos. Just somebody who cannot seem to take responsibility, but acts like he's taking all the responsibility, even though he's doing everything he can to avoid it. And his parents, being smart people, were fooled by this because it's what they wanted to believe about their son, instead of just facing the fact, hey, we're going to do what we have to do. Now we'll deal with our relationship with him down the road. We'll deal with whether or not we're good or not, because I'm going to be right with God. If I turn my kid in for that situation, thinking about it, I feel like I'm going to be perfectly right with God, because again, I'm doing it to protect my kid. I would be doing it to protect them. Because look at the result. Look at the result. The result now is they don't have a son. They don't have a son to write letters to. They don't have a son to call on the phone. They don't have a son anymore. Why? Because they didn't step in and do what needed to be done. And the most important reason, in my opinion, why they should have turned their son in or encouraged him more relentlessly to turn their son in, is setting the example that no matter what, I'm going to protect you. Even if it's from you, I'm going to protect you. That is what a parent does, is they protect their kid. That's not protecting him, because look at the result. Covering for him, not disclosing any information to law enforcement, nothing, not doing anything to bring any peace of mind to the Petitos or the Schmitz. Well, look at the result. The result is he ended up eating a bullet that he fed to himself. So a lot of people are going to think, well, it's not fair what they're going through. They lost their kid too. Thing is, they didn't have to lose their kid. And I know this sounds like harsh words. I know some people are like, how dare you, Glare? Well, I mean, am I wrong? Am I wrong in thinking that because we know the result, am I wrong in thinking that that would have been his best chance of still being around? Who knows what good he could have done from jail? Who knows? Who knows what good he could have done from prison? Even Edmund Kemper, he records audiobooks for the visually impaired. He makes mugs, ceramic mugs. To some degree, he brings joy to the world. Even after this guy beheaded his own mother, along with a lot of other co-eds, beheaded his own mother and violated her severed head in unspeakable ways. And this is still somebody who does the best that he can with his time left on earth. And in their arrogance and thinking, oh, I will never turn my kid in. I will never betray my child. In their arrogance and thinking that way, well, now he's dead. Now he's gone. And now you don't have a son. And now the Petitos and the Schmidts don't have any actual justice. You basically helped this kid cheat her family out of any justice. Patricia Sell, thank you so much. Glare, you did a poll long ago. If you were parents, would you turn in your child? Remember the results? No, I don't. I don't. But actually, that's interesting. I'm curious after everything that I just said, if hold on one second. Okay, here we go. So now we have another poll.
This tragedy. And I'm glad that there is an avenue for them to get justice.
I want to highlight this last comment from Kat.
I agree with her.
JB, Jennifer both mentioned here in this. I'll read the question. So if Bertolino claims the letter has absolutely nothing to do with the Gabby case, why doesn't he just put it out to the public? I asked for the letter. I asked for
right.
That's
a good question.
The same exact kind of.
But the obvious answer somebody like that's going to give is, well, the internet's going to make their decision on what it is anyway. What good is it going to do? What good would it do to release the letter? What good would it do my clients? You know what I mean? So I don't really blame them for not wanting to release the letter. Like, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. Like, nobody wants to defend these people. Nobody following this case with any sense really wants to defend the Laundries.
Inconsequential, then why don't you just put it out to the public? If it's going to potentially come out at trial, why? I've been told that he is not going to release it. That's basically what I've been told. But Kat's thinking here is very along the lines of many others. If Stephen Bertolino says the letter has nothing to do with the Gabby Petito case, then I think it was as it was described to me, and I apologize if I'm shortening this, but the way Bertolino described it to me was, this is a letter that exists between a mother and a son. We're not going to be releasing it. That's basically, in essence, what he said. So, Jennifer, I'd like to really thank you. We only.
Well, so I'm going to go ahead and read the letter. Not that letter, not the letter in question, because it's not released. I'm going to read the letter that Roberta Laundrie wrote to the court. Now, before I do, well, no, I'll just go ahead and get into it and read it. So this is Roberta Laundrie's letter as filed in Sarasota County Circuit Court. As you can see here, I, Roberta Laundrie, am a defendant in the above style cause, and I do hereby swear or affirm that I fully understand the meaning of all the terms of this affidavit. I wrote the letter requested by plaintiff's second request for production. I wrote the letter to my son, Brian Laundrie, on or about the end of May 2021. Although I do not know the exact date I wrote the letter, I do know that I wrote it and gave it to Brian before Brian and Gabby left Florida for New York, which was on June 2nd, 2021. Brian and Gabby went from Florida to New York before they went out west. The purpose of the letter was to reach out to Brian while he and I were experiencing a difficult period in our relationship. Brian and I always had a very open and communicative relationship, and in the months prior to the trip, our relationship had become strained. Brian and I shared a love of stories, and some of the language in the letter was using similar phrases to describe the depth of a mother's love. The two books that came to mind are The Runaway Bunny and Little Bear. In addition, Gabby had given Brian a book called Burn After Writing, which contains printed questions to which the reader responds by writing their answers on the page. The back of the book instructs the reader to create a secret book and then destroy by burn after writing. The bottom of the back cover says, write, burn, repeat. The bottom of the back cover says, write, burn, repeat, Brian. Gabby and I read that wrong again. Brian, Gabby, and I often joked about this book and the importance of being able to express yourself. If you were embarrassed or simply did not want anyone to know your thoughts or feelings, then the book offered the perfect solution by telling you to burn it. Now, I find that interesting because here she says, that's why I got confused. The bottom of the back cover says, write, burn, repeat. Okay. Then the next sentence goes on to say, Brian, Gabby, and I. Okay. That's why I got confused. Brian, Gabby, and I often joked about this book and the importance of being able to express yourself. See, what she does there is slick. Now, it's not to say that it's not sincere. Okay. It's not to say that it's not sincere, but it's definitely, in my opinion, a deliberate attempt to show empathy and a connection, an emotional connection to Gabby. Because obviously they're going to try to prove that the Petitos and the Schmidts are going to try to prove that they did not actually care about Gabby, that they helped cover up the facts of her whereabouts. They knew she was deceased, is what they think. And they said, don't say a word, come back home. While she was deceased, or at least while she was missing, but yes, while she was deceased, they went on a camping trip. Brian came home and they all went on a family camping trip. So it's a bad look. So it makes perfect sense that she, Roberta, in this letter addressing the court that decides that it makes sense that she's going to try to express some sort of emotional connection that she shared with Gabby. Which is, you know what I mean? Like I said, it's not to say that it's not sincere. She did live in her house. She loved her son. Her son, she probably believed that her son loved her very much, so she connected with her in her own way. It's very possible. It's even likely. But when it came down to it, we know that her actions showed her not showing a lot of caring for Gabby or her family and what's important to her best interests. Now, Brian, Gabby, and I often joked about this book and the importance of being able to express yourself. If you were embarrassed or simply did not want anyone to know your thoughts or feelings, then the book offered the perfect solution by telling you to burn it. This is where my message to Brian came from, and I wrote on the cover of the letter for Brian to burn after reading. In short, I was trying to connect with Brian and repair our relationship as he was planning to leave home, and I had hoped this letter would remind him how much I loved him. Now, that's very interesting, too, because she's even admitting here that she used the phrase burn after reading and put it on the cover of the letter as, for lack of a better term, a manipulation tactic to get his guard down, right? I mean, isn't that fair? They were having some sort of estrangement going on between the two of them, and it makes sense that she was trying to use this tactic and tug at his heartstrings in order to get his guard down so that she could have some connection with her son. So is that to say that she's any different than anybody else? No. Is that to say that it's an indication of her being guilty? No, not at all. I'm just saying that if we're going to speculate and look at both sides of the coin, you know, it's there. The fact that she is openly admitting to having certain tactics of manipulation to get the results that she wants, it's there. So Brian came from, and this is where the message to Brian came from. And I wrote on the cover of the letter to Brian to burn after reading. In short, I was trying to connect with Brian and repair our relationship as he was planning to leave home. And I had hoped this letter would remind him how much I loved him. There were some other phrases that I used in the letter, which are not found in the books I shared with Brian as a child. However, these phrases were common enough in our circle of friends and family to describe who you could turn to in the most troubling times of your life. While I used words that seem to have a connection with Brian's actions and his taking of Gabby's life, I never would have fathomed the events that unfolded months later between Brian and Gabby would reflect the words in my letter. The words in the letter could never have been a comment on that tragic solution, as they were written so many months before. The words to Brian were meant to convey my love and support for my son through a light-hearted and quirky reminder that my love for him was not diminished and I could not be shaken by the miles of separation we would soon be faced with. Understandable. Again, like I said, I'm just playing devil's advocate here, but if I'm being 100% honest, if I'm having issues with my kid and we're having communication issues, he's mad at me, I'm mad at him, but I don't want to fight with my kid and I don't want that to drag on. I could see using an inside joke or something that we both connect to as some sort of reference to connect with him in some way, shape, or form. I could see using a movie reference that we would watch. I could just see doing that. I do it just plainly, like when we text. I make I still talk to him sometimes like he's a little kid, because I can still make him laugh in the same ways. That's something that most parents don't lose with their kid. You know what I mean? That's so a lot of people might be speculating and saying, oh, well, that's just a sign that she still babies him and that she still coddles him and blah, blah, blah. And she's making all of these references regarding, his childhood to try to connect with him and blah, 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 books that he read as a child and this and that. Okay, maybe that's possible. Sure. But I mean, even still, like, dude, like I'll still like, one time my kid FaceTimed me as I was at the gym, right? And I was like, of course I picked it up and I'm like, what's up, dude? What's going on? And it was great. And he was like, what are you doing, man? And I was like, oh, I'm just at the gym, and then I mess with him. You know what I mean? I joke with him and I apply dad jokes that I know are going to make him annoyed at the fact that he laughed at it, even though he can't resist laughing at it, because I'm still the same guy that when he was an infant, I could make funny faces and make him laugh and just be a silly dad, And I think I said something to the effect of, I was like, he was like, oh yeah, at the gym, huh? Getting pumped. And making some sort of reference, some joke, about, being a bro and being at the gym, being that gym guy. And then, I just went with it and just, turned it around on him. And I was like, yeah, man, I'm just here exercising my Second Amendment rights. And he's like, you doing what? And I was like, the right to bear arms, bro. And then it makes him laugh. And even though he's sitting there hating himself for laughing because it's such a stupid fucking joke, it's such a dad joke, but he's like, sure, I hate you. That's very possible that that's all that was. Your kid's mad at you. You want their guard to go down, and you're going to do whatever you can to get your kid's guard down, because nothing fucking hurts more than when your kid is mad at you. So I get it. My words to Brian were meant to convey my love and support for my son through a lighthearted and quirky reminder that my love for him was not diminished and could not be shaken by the miles of separation we would soon be faced with. Although a few of the words in the letter are being quoted by others as having a connection to this case, all of the words taken together and in the context of the reason the letter was written show that there is no connection. In addition, there has been some speculation that this letter was in Brian's possession or in his backpack when he died, insinuating that I gave it to him as he left my home on September 13th, 2021. But that is not true, because the FBI had the letter in their possession and questioned members of my family about it prior to October 20th, 2021, when my husband and I found Brian's remains in the reserve. Now, this is very interesting. I want to be very clear about that, because that right there, that can be proven. She's giving specific dates, and she's saying that the FBI had possession of the letter at the time of Brian unaliving himself. When Brian committed suicide, this letter was already in the possession of the FBI. Now, some could say, okay, let's just say that she's lying, right? Why would she lie about that when it could be easily proven? I mean, it's a civil case. You can absolutely, it's no matter civil, criminal, it doesn't matter. If there's somebody that can prove your case, You can call the FBI or an FBI agent as a witness and testify, yes, this was in our possession, or no, this was not in our possession at the time stated in this letter addressed to the court. So, I mean, she's giving specific dates, and she's saying that the letter was in possession of law enforcement. But that is not true, because the FBI had the letter in their possession and questioned members of my family about it prior to October 20th, 2021, when my husband and I found Brian's remains in the reserve. And I find it strange that they found his remains so quickly. People were searching all over the place for this guy in that spot, and they found him in seconds. I repeat that the letter I wrote to Brian before he left with Gabby for their fateful trip was nothing more than a private communication between myself and my son, and I never expected anyone else would read it. See, I don't like that line. She says, I repeat that the letter I wrote to Brian before he left with Gabby for their fateful trip. I don't know. For me, it kind of minimizes what happened to Gabby. But you can't expect her to say anything. Otherwise, she's not going to say, on the trip where my son murdered his girlfriend. You know, she's not going to say that. She's going to word it like that. But it's still going to bother you to some degree to hear it. You know, so, and I never expected anyone else would read it. In some way, I did not want anyone else to read it, as I know it is not the type of letter a mother writes to her adult son. And I did not want to embarrass Brian. That is why I wrote "burn after reading" on the envelope. And I knew that Brian would know what that meant. I am now appreciative that he actually kept it. Okay. I see that. So her saying, because it has, I don't know if it's weird, man. And y'all are saying feels icky, feels weird. When it comes to the letter, see, this is the thing. And Vicky Lou, you're saying I don't believe her. Okay, fair. Okay, fair. And I don't blame any of you guys for feeling that way. I feel differently, and I'm going to explain why. Okay. Do I think that she knew what happened to Gabby and failed to do the right thing in getting answers to the Petitos and the Schmitz? Do I think that they should have been more cooperative? Do I think that their cooperation would have likely led to or likely avoided the outcome where Brian ended up dead? I don't know. Maybe actions could have saved Gabby's life prior to what happened, but we don't know anything about that. We don't know what it was like in their house. We don't know anything. We just saw the kind of dynamic that the two of them have based on body cam footage. Just a few minutes of body cam footage. That's all we have. That's not enough to determine an entire relationship between two people. It is enough to speculate on an entire relationship between two people, but it is not enough to determine the nature of a relationship between two people. So the fact that you know, like I said, there's that body cam footage. It's very disturbing, but at the same time, we don't know for a fact that Brian's family could have done anything to have saved Gabby's life. So I'm not going to put that on them. What I am going to say, though, is they could have been more diligent in getting closure and helping these people, the Schmitz and the Petitos, closure. And to me, that's a crime. You know, it's just a crime that you can't prove. You know, it's a crime. This particular case, this crime you can't prove it. But hopefully they can prove something in civil court. And there is, as Jennifer, this retired FBI agent that was speaking with JB, said, she said that she's glad that at least the Petitos and the Schmitz have this other avenue to go down in getting justice. And I agree with that wholeheartedly. I do believe that that's a great thing. And I mean, that's the end of the letter right there. So I'm not seeing, let's see. Wow. Okay. Let's see what the poll says. So 80% of you feel that you would turn your kid in. 19 say no. But 80% of you feel that you would turn your kid in. Now understand, that's a really, really, that's not even a really fair question for me to ask in the poll. I am taking in variables. I am understanding and considering that there's variables involved. It's too broad of a question. You don't know. But that 19%, though, giving that definitive no, that's 19% of you that are basically saying, you, no matter what the circumstances are, it doesn't matter what the circumstances are. There's no fucking way that you would ever turn your kid in. And I get that to some degree, but I can honestly say that I struggled with that question myself prior to this case. Prior to this case, I struggled with that question myself. But after seeing it with my own eyes and seeing certain circumstances being the case, I can't definitively say that I would not turn my son in. You know what I mean? I can't definitively say that. If it means protecting him from himself, then it means protecting him from himself, and I will do that. And I make no apologies about that. So exactly, Kathy Lee, or Kathy Pease. Let's talk about everything. Honestly, until you're in that situation, you really don't know what you do. Just would like to think I do the right thing. Right. You think in theory, you're like, because that 19% in the chat is like, I love my kid and it's completely unconditional. There's no fucking way I would ever do anything that would ever betray them or make them believe that I betrayed them. There's just no way. And I understand that way of thinking, but I don't relate to it so much anymore. Because like I said, the result speaks for itself. I mean, can you guys honestly say, those of you when you're that 19%, knowing how it turned out, knowing that Brian Laundrie took off, went into the woods, took his own life, and within minutes of the Laundries going into the woods, within minutes they found his body. You see what I'm saying? Gray Hughes investigates. What's up, buddy? I am not a Laundrie parent hater. They lost a son. The monster is Brian, who killed Gabby. I agree with you, but what I'm saying is the Laundries, I'm of the opinion, personally. Everybody's entitled to their opinions in my chat, but I'm of the opinion personally that they could have, by making the hard choice, they could have saved their kid's life. By making the hard decision, they and really thinking about it and really considering everything, they could have been in a position where they're like, okay, we'll go down that road of our kid being mad at us. We'll deal with that when the time comes. But right now, because you've also got to consider he's on the run. it's fair to speculate that they knew where he was, that they knew his whereabouts. It's fair to speculate, but not just could they have foreseen him taking his own life? They may have, but there's no proof that they could have foreseen that. So understandable, sure. But then there's the case where what's the inevitable going to happen? If he is the suspect in Gabby's death and he's out on the lam and he has a gun, and maybe the parents didn't know he had a gun, but he has a gun because he offed himself with it, allegedly, apparently, I think so, right? There's the risk that he's going to die in a shootout with the cops. If I'm the parent of Brian, I'm going to do everything I can to protect him from that. That's all I'm saying. I mean, he couldn't live with what he did, but he still did it. You know what I mean? Like, I understand feeling the guilt. I'm not denying that he felt guilty. I'm not sitting here calling Brian a sociopath who had no regard for Gabby's life. I mean, I may have, who knows? Who knows all the horrible shit I said when the case was going on and I was trash talking the dude. But months and months later, it's very easy for me to look at it from a less passionate perspective and just think, you know, I don't know, you know, I don't know. But being a parent, I feel like what they should have done is that's part of life. You fuck up. You do things even though you don't mean them, but you got to face the consequences for it. You got to live up to it because you're cheating a family who just lost their daughter. You're cheating them of justice. So I would like to think that I would advise my kid to do the right thing, at least advise him. And that's not to say that they didn't advise him, but even still get to a point. I mean, if you're going to blindly and just do whatever you can to protect your kid, even though it's not what's best for them. I mean, if you're going to go that far, well, then I think that it's fair to go out of your way to protect them by even betraying them as the way they would see it in Brian's eyes, the way he would see it, betraying him. I could see that. But you know, for the sake of bringing closure to a family who lost their daughter senselessly at the hands of him, the right thing to do is to bring closure to that family, empathize with that family. Yeah, no, totally, Gray. This is an interesting case. But the funny thing about that is, you know, people like me and you, we don't really give a fuck if people trash us for our opinions. I mean, I am being careful in how I word things, sure, but at the end of the day, I don't give a fuck if anybody like has an issue with my opinion on this. You know, I really don't. This is these variables involving Brian and the choices that his parents made boil down to a matter of opinion. There's just no other way. You know, there's no way of avoiding that. It boils down to a matter of opinion. And when something boils down to a matter of opinion, you're going to have different opinions. That's just going to happen. And if you can't behave like an adult and disagree with me in my chat like an adult, then, you know, fuck you too. You know what I mean? But here we are and we're having a conversation, and we can have the tough conversations. You know, we should be able to have the tough conversations because we're grown-ups. And it's just that simple. We should be able to have these tough differences of opinions. Now, some people might say something really stupid. You know what I mean? There might be somebody in my chat that might say something just really, really asinine that just 100% like either damns the Laundries or defends the Laundries just blindly without any facts. And then I'm just going to be like, dude, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I think that's one of the reasons why I definitively think that this is the reason why this case got as much attention as it did. It was the parents not cooperating. It was Brian Laundrie's right, Greg. It was Brian Laundrie's parents, their behavior and the way that they reacted to everything and the way that they shut down and the way that they lawyered up and the way that they've refused to cooperate. That's what got so much attention on the case. Because everybody's like, what? How dare they? That's why people showed up in front of their house, you know? And that's the thing is I support your First Amendment right, you know, because I didn't feel bad for them at all. I didn't feel bad for the Laundries at all when you had these idiots screaming and yelling in front of their house. It was just funny how the majority of the people that were in there screaming and yelling in front of this house weren't there because they cared about Gabby or wanted answers for Gabby. They were just there because it was the thing to do, and they get to be, oh, look, I'm part of something. And it was just asinine, just completely just ridiculous. It was just a shit show. And I called out MGL on that right away because I was like, oh my God, look at this shit. Okay, there we go. Sorry, I lost audio there for a second because I hit my mic. Yeah, I knew I had no sound. I realized that. But shut up, Cherry. Yeah, it was just, yeah, there were people just doing this, and then it takes away, you know. Now, I feel bad for the neighbors, you know. I disagree with people, you know, camping out in front of their house and yelling through bullhorns because consider the neighbors. You know what I mean? I think it sucks for them. I think that sucked for them. It wasn't fair. One of them actually got real sick of JLR shit. That was really funny. But in conclusion, as far as this new update regarding the Gabby Petito case, I'm actually of the opinion I do not think that letter had anything to do with Gabby. Or at least the crime. I don't think that it had anything to do with that. I think that I don't think that Roberta would give these dates where and say that it was in the possession of a very verifiable entity. You know, the FBI is a very verifiable entity of whether or not they were in possession of this letter at the time of Brian being on the lam and offing himself in the woods. And yes, I'm going to get into that right now, actually. Yeah. So just for fun, because we got a little bit of time, just for fun, we're going to talk a little bit about JLR. And Your timing is impeccable, Brianna25, because you're saying, the glare, did you catch Deet's deep dive on JLR? Speaking of idiots who just travel around yelling and screaming at people. Yes, I did, as a matter of fact. And I want to be very clear. I recommend that video to everyone. I'm not going to go over it. It's basically an hour-long little documentary on JLR and everything you need to know about that dude. And Deets on the Streets did it. And it's excellent. It's very well done. So let me I'm just going to pull up the link so that sorry, yeah, I got to click on that too. Let me just all right, so here's the link to that. Make sure to click on this and watch it. At the very least, click on it, give it a like. But if you really want to know everything that you need to know about JLR, it is in that video. It's very well done. Deets on the Streets did this, and she did an excellent, excellent job. So that link is in the chat right now. Just go ahead and click on it real quick. And then we're going to go over this real quick. Oops, hold on.
My phone was some good. Coming. My phone was just ringing. I had to put the phone down. Hello, hello. Good evening, everyone. Let's talk about the Alec Murdaugh case. And let's talk about Buster Murdaugh. Look what I got. Welcome to media, Rachel Perez. Welcome. Look at this. Look at this. Welcome aboard. Look at this. We have chicken, baby. Alec Murdaugh, Buster Murdaugh. Chickens. Chicken. I gotta tell you what happened. In Hilton Head. Buster Murdaugh is in Hilton Head, South Carolina right now. I went to his
that's
house.
just so fucking clever, isn't it? It's just so clever that this dude is at Chick-fil-A right now. And that this dude is at Chick-fil-A right now. Now, I want you guys to understand something. Once you watch, and I'm telling you, do yourselves a favor and watch Deets on the Streets. And I've covered him. I've gone over his past. Burnt Toast has gone over his past. But I've never seen one video that was more informative than the way that Deets on the Streets put this video together. She did an excellent job, as I continue to say. I know you guys are getting sick of me saying that, but Cat CI Healer, JLR still looks 12. Agreed. Thank you so much. So yeah, this dude, he walks around claiming media, but what you have to understand is he is admittingly, at least now he's not, but he admits openly in writing and in interviews that he does this simply just to troll. He likes to create chaos. The reason why he actually reports misinformation, it's deliberate. It's not just deliberate to get clicks and views. This is the thing about this guy that you guys got to understand about him. This is somebody who, yes, we make jokes about. I'm going to make fun of him as we watch this video. It's fun to make fun of him. He's an absolute clown and a total idiot. But at the same time, you have to understand something about this guy. He's also sick. And he does this, admittingly, for infamy. He does not care about making money on these videos. He doesn't care about any type of monetary gain when he makes these videos. He spends money out of his own pocket to travel all over the place and use the locations as settings while he gives you made up bullshit regarding victims, regarding victims' loved ones, regarding innocent bystanders that surround the case. We know that he has targeted Dylan Mortensen like crazy before the Alec Murdaugh case became, or the trial started. So before the trial started, every video, he would release like 3 or 4 videos a day about Dylan Mortensen. And the thing is he just doesn't care. Like, and yet he's very passionate about what he's doing. But what he's doing is simply deliberately spreading misinformation. He's trying to get a buzz going. He's trying to make people mad. He does not care about making money. He does this for the sheer pleasure of victimizing people. This is a bad person. This is somebody who, even though we make fun of him, he's not to be underestimated. He is a very dangerous person. Somebody who has nothing better to do with their time but file frivolous lawsuits and dox people and dig up information on people and spread lies about them who have been affected by a high-profile case. This is not somebody who you should underestimate as to whether or not they're dangerous. This is clearly a dangerous person, because I don't know anybody personally that would invest so much time and energy into the things that he does. And money. Because this guy does not do what he does for money. I promise you that.
A lot happened out there. A lot happened, and I got some video evidence. Oh my God. These are so delicious.
Now, he's not lying there, okay? Because I want to be very clear about something, folks, and I've always been very open about this on my channel, okay? What he's eating right now is Chick-fil-A, okay? It is also known as God's chicken, okay? There's 2 reasons for that, okay? It's a double meaning, all right? A, because they're closed on Sunday, all right? They're closed on Sunday because it's a very Christian establishment, all right? And they can afford to observe God. They can afford to be closed on Sunday. They can afford to sacrifice all those sales to be closed on Sunday. And what they do, this is what makes Chick-fil-A amazing. They're so confident in their product and in their service and in their image that they can afford to close on Sunday. And the reason why they can afford to close on Sunday, one hand washes the other, is because they make up for the sales that they lose every Sunday by providing the best possible product, service, and image, which is the trifecta. It's the gospel trifecta of the service industry. Okay? Product, service, image. The other reason it's known as God's chicken is because it's fucking delicious. It's the kind of chicken sandwich that all you need is 2 pickles in between and 2 pieces of bread, and put that chicken between it. And the only purpose that the bread really serves is so that you can hold on to the chicken and not get your fingers as greasy as they're going to get if you were just holding on to the chicken. Do you understand? Okay. This is why it's called God's chicken. All right. Chick-fil-A is fucking fantastic, people. All right. The image aspect, are you kidding? Every single person, when you walk into a Chick-fil-A, at least around where I live, if you walk into a Chick-fil-A, everybody is dressed exactly the same. Nobody's shirt is untucked. You walk into a McDonald's, they got their hat to the side. They got their name tag all sideways. If they're wearing one at all, they're like, what's up? How can I help you? They're slouching. Like everybody in Chick-fil-A, working at Chick-fil-A looks like they work for a cult. You know why it looks like they're all in a cult? And they're all smiling like, hey, welcome to Chick-fil-A. How can I help you? It's because they're fucking paid more than anybody who slings chicken for a living. They take care of their employees. Okay? That's the secret. That's the secret. They take care of their employees because the employees have to be the ones who actually emulate this product, service, and image. They have to be perfect service. It has to be perfect service. It has to be perfect image. And they have to make the products consistent and delicious every single time. And the reason and the only way you can get people to do that consistently is by fucking paying them. Pay them. Chick-fil-A is the best that you're ever going to get. I mean, you might prefer Zaxby's chicken over Chick-fil-A, but I mean, it's just so good. So I agree with JLR. This is the one true thing that he's ever said.
Number 2. This is a number 2. And I got honey mustard.
Yeah, do you realize that every other fast food joint is trying to put out their own version of the Chick-fil-A sandwich? McDonald's has the crispy chicken sandwich. KFC has their double down, or it's just called the chicken sandwich, but they're all trying to sell a chicken sandwich and they're trying to create that same thing. The secret behind Chick-fil-A and their flavor in their chicken is they cook that shit in peanut oil. At least that's what I heard. I don't know if that's true, but whatever they're doing is fucking fantastic.
Dude, I had a total Chick-fil-A craving. I've been running around like
I get it,
without a head today.
I get it, you fucking clown. I can't disagree with you on that.
And I said to myself, since I've been running around as a chicken went out of my head, I'm going to get myself some chicken at Chick-fil-A.
He does this shit. Since I'm running around like a chicken, I'm going to go get some Chick-fil-A. Like before, the last video we went over, dude was talking about he was eating McDonald's and he was calling Kohberger the Kohberger King. And he was eating McDonald's though. Like, why didn't he just get Burger King? But even still, it's corny and it's ridiculous and it's stupid. The Kohberger King. And he's like, we're going to talk about Brian Kohberger, and he's the Kohberger King. And just because he's the Kohberger King, I got a burger. Okay, now it's McDonald's. It's not Burger King, but it's McDonald's. And then before that, it was the fucking flip-flops. He was like, somebody's flip-flopping in their story, but I'm wearing flip-flops. And I got flip-flops right here. See my flip-flops? My flip-flops. This guy's a fucking clown, bro. He's a nut.
Well, you can't go wrong with Chick-fil-A. Look at this.
You can't go wrong.
Chicken sandwich.
I mean, he's right. Is he trying to get? Is he trying to get sponsorship? Is that what he's doing?
Honey mustard, Coca-Cola. I'm actually in Georgia right now. I just crossed over the border. I'm in Polar, Georgia. Polar, Georgia. So I went to Buster Murdoch's girlfriend's house today.
Why did you do that?
And
like, you think that girl wants to be bothered? And what's funny is this is also how you know that this dude is just doing this shit to troll. Because nobody fucking talks to this guy. Anybody sees this guy coming a mile away is going to turn their back and run. Anybody who sees this dude wearing a media hat and a fucking press shirt, a press sweater, he looks like a fucking idiot. He looks like a crazy person. He looks like an internet weirdo. He's incarnate what you imagine when you just generally say internet weirdo. You know those weirdos on the internet? Incarnate is what they would look like. If you got an AI program and a 3D printer to print out internet weirdo, you're going to get JLR dressed just like that. Why the fuck are you going and knocking on Buster's fucking ex-girlfriend's house? You think that she wants to talk to you? And I bet you anything he's going to be like, yeah, she slammed the door in my face, told me to fucking go away, called me a fucking loser. I mean, probably, maybe not. I don't know. But chances are, because that's usually what happens. And he doesn't learn from it. And that was the point I was getting at. He doesn't ever learn from this. He knows that that's what's going to happen. He gets off on bothering people. He's not trying to get to the truth. He's not trying to get answers. He gets off on trolling people.
he's chicken. He didn't want to come out. So I was out there documenting and filming around, and she came out. His girlfriend came out. I don't know if she wanted to go to the car or something. I was like, "Hi, excuse me. Can I speak to Buster? Is Buster, can I talk to Buster?" And she beelined and went right back into the house and slammed the door.
Big shocker.
And then,
what the fuck did I just say, dude? What did I just fucking say? He asked for Buster and she takes off. And he did that just to get that reaction. He doesn't actually want answers. He did that just to get that reaction. If he happens to get answers by some chance, cool. But if he was really trying to get answers, he wouldn't have been so aggressive. Yeah, we're going to get into that too.
30 seconds later, through the blinds, Buster's peeking out the blinds. Buster's peeking out the blinds, and then he closes the blinds. We live in a condominium.
See, I call bullshit on that because this guy is real quick to show video footage. Whenever he has anything, he shows the video footage. He'll show that. He'll take pride in that. He'll be like, look, there's Buster in the window, and he closed the window. He's making this shit up. He's straight fucking lying. Because he would have been filming it and had the receipts. Guaranteed. That guy is not traveling around the country just to tell stories. He's trying to capture something on video. Now, the purpose of what he's trying to capture on video is in the guise of getting answers, but it's not to get answers. It's just to fuck with people and interfere in these things. He did it with politics, and he's doing it with crime now. He was doing it with mass shooters. Then he did it with Trump. And he flip-flopped. Like, he flip-flopped his political beliefs. He tried to troll Trump first and then realized he could get more content by becoming a Trump supporter and following him around and going to the rallies.
There's a Daily Mail has been out there. Welcome to media. Thank you, Arkansas, Missouri Penny. Busted, but he's chicken. He's chicken, like meat. Buster's chicken. You want to speak?
That's
I had
bugging
a
the hell
note
out
and
of me.
everything. I was wrong.
Look at this. Like, look at
meat
the
Buster, but he's chicken.
Look at the lettuce.
He's chicken, like
Driving
meat.
me
Buster's
crazy.
chicken.
Just
You
pull
want
the
to
lettuce
speak?
off, bro.
I had a note and everything. I was wrong. And I was going to go YouTube live in front of his house. Reception was a little bad. I live in a condominium. Gumtree, Hilton Head. That's where she
Agreed. And when you watch that Deets on the Streets video, like he's being interviewed, and then they ask him if he has any beliefs, any like core beliefs, and he basically admits that he doesn't. That his belief is just to fucking shake shit up, just to cause problems, to throw ink in the water.
She lives. He's there for sure. So after she slammed the door and closed the door and they closed the blinds, I'm out there making a video and I get in my car and I'm sitting there. Next thing I know, two neighbors walking the dog with flashlights come up to me and shine the light in my eye. Excuse me.
Dude,
why are you here?
Like, and he's mocking these people for simply like reacting the way any normal person would react when you see that fucking dude lurking around your neighborhood. Like, that dude is weird, which makes him suspicious. It's incredible. And here he is going, excuse me. Like, he has no respect for anyone's privacy. He has absolutely no respect for anybody's sense of just self.
You're trespassing. Like, calm down. It's all good. I'm here. No problem.
What?
And the guy got totally triggered.
Of course he got triggered.
Get out of here. And he started screaming at me.
Of course.
I filmed the encounter. I'm going to play the video later. I told him. And I was cool. I was totally cool. Kept my composure. He didn't keep his.
We know that you always keep your composure, because this is another thing that he likes to do. He likes to get people to the point to where they're going to get physical with him. And if they get physical with him, he tries to bring charges up on them. Like, we saw the footage of him in front of the Laundrie house, and some guy got sick and fucking tired of him roaming around his lawn in front of his house, because all of those people are just a bunch of fucking ghouls who couldn't just mind their own business and just watch the shit on TV or on the internet like everybody else and like every other normal person. You had to show up there and act like an asshole. And so, of course, some guy got sick and tired of it. And from what I understand, he pushed JLR, something to that effect. And then he starts crying and saying, oh my God, you're going to prison. You're going to prison. You're going to prison. While right after he antagonized the fuck out of this guy. And that's what he's doing here. He's showing up to where he's not welcome, shoving his phone in people's faces, shining a light in people's faces. And then when they react naturally, he takes it like he's a victim and they're attacking him. Look at the way this person reacted. Oh my God. Look at the way this person treated me. I was there just minding my own business. You weren't minding your own business. You were minding somebody else's business. That person was minding their own business and you invaded them. You accosted them. That's what happened. And then he wants to sit there and play victim like, oh, well, they're violating my First Amendment rights because I have a right to be here. It's a public street, blah, 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 blah. No, dude. They have a right to fucking lose their shit on you. That's home. You're fantasizing about pulling into your driveway your entire day for work. What you're not fantasizing about is some jackass dressed like that with a fucking bullhorn or a phone or a flashlight asking you stupid fucking questions.
I told him I'm going to make him YouTube famous.
Wow.
I said, you're going viral, dude, with this video. Because it will. I mean, we'll get a few thousand views.
It's not viral, bro.
So I'll be playing that later. But why is Buster in Hilton Head with his girlfriend? Why there? And I wasn't too impressed with Hilton Head. I've been hearing about Hilton Head. I've never been there. First, you got to get off I-95 and take like 20, 30 minutes to go down one road.
Yeah, like
get there.
He's deliberately now. He's deliberately right now, like just trying to fucking dox them. Like people are going to go after them. It's so fucked up. Somebody's gonna sue this asshole. Like he's gonna end up locked up. And I don't know for sure. I don't know if he's on probation right now. But if he is, his probation officer is fucking slipping. Because he's currently victimizing people. And if you're on probation, you're not supposed to leave the state. So why the fuck is he in Georgia when he should be in Florida?
I didn't even see no boardwalk. I didn't see anything. Hence, it was dark. Arkansas, Missouri Penny, you've had us worried. You're grounded for making us worried. Glad you're safe. Thank you. I went to Murdoch Island. I was going live at Murdoch Island. So what happened was the reception out there was horrible.
Dude, what's happening in the brains of people that support this guy? That's what I don't understand. Like I'm trying to visualize someone who can justify his actions in their mind and support him. It's very strange to me. Like how can somebody just decide that this is what I want to get behind? Yeah. Good old JLR. Crazy. Like there's got to be, I don't know, some sort of abnormal brain activity that's causing that to happen. What is this demographic that he targeted and that he managed to secure? I don't understand it.
I kept, breaking up. So I took it off and I made an actual video. Going on a Murdoch Island, and I went there. No one's there.
Murdoch.
There's houses there. There's a
idiot
dock and slip there, whatever like that. So I'm gonna post that video later on. Oh my God, these you can't beat Chick-fil-A. Seriously,
yeah, supposedly
you cannot beat Chick-fil-A.
You can't beat Chick-fil-A. I agree with that. Supposedly, because Calamity Jade's saying, I hope he thinks because he can't sue, he believes he can't be sued. Right. And yes, keep giving the two blonde eggshells bad legal advice. Right. Yeah, it's just really funny how BHB just totally like idolizes this idiot. Like that tells me everything I need to know about her, much less all of the other shit that just makes it so easy to review her. Like she idolizes this asshole. It's so funny. Like it's incredible. But yeah, supposedly he has a shit ton of money. Somebody's gonna sue his ass. And fucking with the Murdochs, like that's not smart. That like litigation's in their blood.
Like they have the best. And the spicy stuff is almost good. But Buster Murdoch is plain chicken.
What a fucking idiot.
There's been media outlet. I guess the neighbors know that media has been out there because there's images out there of Buster and his girlfriend walking the dogs.
Is he going to just eat the lettuce? What?
So they're eyeing every video. Now, my mind was thinking, who are these neighbors? Like, I'm in a condominium complex. The road is a public road, I believe. Might be a
condominium complex? Yeah.
Private road. But who are they to determine whether I should be there or not? How do they know that I'm not
They live there, dickhead.
there for somebody else, or I got invited?
Because you're fucking harassing people. Like, this is his logic. He's like, how do they know? How do they know that I'm not there just visiting people? Because, dude, if you're there visiting people, nobody that lives there is going to be okay with you going around and harassing their neighbors. Like, if I invite somebody over to my house, you know what I mean? Like, to come chill, you know, or stay with me or whatever. And they get, and then they start acting the way he does and start fucking with my neighbors. I'm going to be like, I don't know that dude. Call the cops. I don't fucking know that dude. There's no fucking, like, imagine that. Nobody that's visiting those people. And that's what's really funny is he's sitting here acting like, well, how do they not know this? How do they know that? Dude, like, nobody, not just those neighbors, but nobody fucking acts like you do. That's why. Nobody does. Everything about you is shady. Everything about you is weird. Welcome, Zoots and Boots. Thank you so much.
Like somebody told me to come. Like there's probably hundreds of people that live there.
Yeah.
But I wasn't down for just arguing with them and explaining myself to the police if they would have called the police.
You notice that he never sticks around for the cops, right? He never sticks around for the cops. Like, it's just a matter of time before somebody calls the cops and they're like, and the cops are just like, oh, I know exactly who that guy is. I know exactly who that guy is. Which way did he go? It's just a matter of time. But he never sticks around for the cops. I wonder why.
I wasn't invited. How do you guys know I wasn't invited?
Because nobody with a brain would invite you anywhere.
If they said invited by who, I don't reveal my sources. How about that? I don't have to reveal my sources.
Okay, dude, you weren't invited by a source, bro. A source just gives you information. A source doesn't go, hey, come on over. You know? Like, and it doesn't do any good. This is his logic. Like, it kills me. It doesn't do any good. You don't get to say, hey, I'm visiting. Well, who are you visiting? I don't give away my sources. No, you have to legitimize your being there. You have to somehow legitimize what you're doing on private fucking property, you idiot. You don't get to just be like, hey, I'm visiting somebody, but I'm not going to tell you who. That's not how it works. You have to come up with you have to come up with a verifiable person that you're visiting, somebody who lives there. You have to drop a name that can be verified that they live there. That's like any apartment complex. That's like any homeowners association. You have to do that. And chances are all of these people know each other. See, when you're not a total fucking weirdo trying to make everybody's fucking life uncomfortable, people do this thing called congregate. Neighbors bring each other casseroles and shit. And they say, hey, welcome to the neighborhood. People like to know who they live by. People who own homes, who have kids, they like to do internet searches to find out if there's any sex offenders in the area. They like to know who they live around. You don't belong. Well, how do they know? How do they know? No, you have to verify that shit. You have to have some sort of verifiable information. You don't get to just fucking plead the fifth on private property. It doesn't work that way.
They were so snappy, though. Trigger. They're probably tired of seeing their images all out there of people watching Buster's every move.
Gives
but
a
I don't
fuck.
think it's just journalists that are watching Buster. I think law enforcement is watching.
Dude, I bet you at most, what happens is You watch the news? Somebody comes over to your house and then you go, oh, hey, yeah, you watch the news? You ever heard of that Murdoch case? Chances are they haven't. It's only us that watch this shit and pay attention to it. But let's just say they say yes. The most it goes is, hey, that dude who's on trial, his son lives right there. Yeah. Oh, really? Cool. Then they forget about it the rest of the fucking night. Nobody cares. It never goes beyond that. Nobody cares. This guy's assuming that everybody is looking at that house like, oh my God, Buster lives there. Buster. Nobody gives a fuck or even knows who that guy is. They're too concerned with their own lives. Their life isn't what you're doing. Your life is, but normal people's lives are not what you're doing. They're thinking about other things. They have kids to raise. They have marriages to make work. They have mortgages to pay. They have jobs to hold down. They're not worried about the fucking ginger that lives over there that may or may not have had a sexual relationship with his best friend at some point. Nobody cares. Brother Preach, thank you, buddy. To respond to the police part, when you're back in probation, no police contact whatsoever. So, yeah, okay. So that's another thing. So that makes perfect sense. So Brother Preach is making a point saying that if he's on probation, he's violating probation if the cops show up and talk to him. If they show up and talk to him and run his license number and realize that he's on probation, that's a violation of his probation and he's going to jail. That's if he's on probation. So you can't even have a cop talk to you and be like, what are you doing here? Even that right there is a violation of your probation, to be in a position where a cop has to ask you, what are you doing here? So that's probably a good reason as to why he avoids any contact with the police whenever somebody threatens to call.
Watching his moves, watching his movements, particularly with this case of Stephen Smith open back up. I think there's a lot of pressure building, momentum building to hold someone accountable for what happened to Stephen Smith. Maybe it even comes down to a grand jury. Like in a grand jury investigation.
Grand jury.
But Buster knows people are out there.
Grand jury.
And I had a note, and I was going to put it on his door. They didn't answer because I was going to go YouTube Live.
Taco said In-N-Out is good too. Yeah, those are good burgers, Taco. Shut the fuck up, Clara. Sorry, it's my Lebowski reference. No, oh, that's Martha Ann McClansky.
I got a long drive. I'm heading back to Florida. I saw Law and Crime. They're covering a case out of Hillsborough County. Some ice cream truck guy that's getting retried. They call him the ice cream truck killer or something like that. Do you guys know about that case? Something about an ice cream truck guy got jumped and he went down and retaliated and shot everyone on a porch or something like that. He's being charged. Retried. I might go check the ice cream guy.
Can you imagine that? Like, I just picture some cheesy movie now. Like a dude in an ice cream truck, he gets his ass whooped, and then he finds out where they're all just like kicking it on somebody's porch. Dude pulls out a fucking gun. He's like, yeah, motherfuckers, you want sprinkles with that? I can just imagine that shit. It's fucking hardcore, bro.
Guy up. Come on. Go to the Hillsborough County Courthouse because it's close to me. Something to do. I'm eating single pickles. They gave me extra sauce. Oh, wow. They gave me 3 sauces.
Wow.
You know, Chick-fil-A, they kind of stingy in some places. They only get 1 sauce.
You only get 1
Guess what?
sauce.
I got 2. And guess what?
I got 2 sauces.
I'm taking this home. I'm taking these home. They're coming with me.
Wow.
So I got some free.
Look at this. I got sauces. Look at my sauces. I got the one that I already opened, and look, I got these extra ones, and I'm gonna take them home because I like the honey mustard, because like my mom, she puts the mustard on my hot dogs, but I don't like them so much. But I like it with the honey because it's sweet and it's sugary. Even though my mom says I can't have too much sugar because it makes me hyper and I talk too much, but now I just have, and look, I ate all of my fries. I ate all of my waffle fries. I ate all of them. All of my waffle fries. Like, look, see, I don't like lettuce, but I want to keep the lettuce. I don't want to take a bite, but I don't want to get rid of the lettuce. I'm gonna save the lettuce for last because I really like the lettuce. I'm gonna save the lettuce for last. It's really good. It's really good. Oh, wait. I wonder if I should get more fries because I have all this sauce and I don't have anything to put it in the sauce. So should I get more waffle fries? I feel like I should get more waffle fries. I'm going to ask if I should get more waffle fries. Should I ask you guys if I should get more waffle fries? Because I got so much sauce and nothing to do with all the sauce. And look, I still have the lettuce. Now, my mom's going to get mad at me if I don't eat all the lettuce, but I just don't feel like it. I'm too full because I ate everything like a big boy. I ate everything like a big boy. I still have the fries left. Hold on. Still a little piece of the fries. Hold on. I'm going to dip my lettuce. Look. I can't put that. I can't put the one thing that looks like it belongs in salad in the salad dressing. Wait, I'm doing it. That's why I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Screw it. I'm doing it. I put the lettuce in the salad dressing because lettuce goes in salad. So honey mustard is kind of like it's salad dressing too. So I'm just gonna put the lettuce in the salad dressing, and my mom's gonna get mad at me for that, but I don't care. I don't care what she says. I'm a big boy. I'm this big. I'm this many big. Oh, that's good. That's delicious. That's delicious. And I don't know if I last time I tried to get real Coke, but they gave me Diet Coke, and I was like, that's what my mommy drinks. Don't give me Diet Coke. That's what my mommy drinks. You're not my mommy. You can't tell me what sugar I can have and what I can't have. Okay? I'm eating my lettuce. Leave me alone. I have crumbs for my fries. Let me eat the crumbs for my fries first. Okay? Because I'm going to grow up to be this big. Fucking idiot. This guy is.
Knowing what you know about the Murdoch case, and you guys had a daughter out there, would you be okay with Buster Murdoch staying at your daughter's home or having a relationship with your daughter? I don't know. If I had a daughter,
what the fuck are you talking about?
And my daughter's boyfriend was Buster Murdoch, yeah, I'd be pulling my daughter to the side and be like, yo, cut him short. Get rid of him. Too much drama.
But you don't have a daughter.
Because she's going to be brought into the limelight. Is it worth it? Is it worth it? I mean, they're still young. They both have careers. I mean, she has a career.
And yet nobody's harassing him but you. Imagine that.
Ahead of herself. She's still relatively young, early 20. But she want all that spotlight. I mean, she's with him holding hands at court. But I don't know. I wouldn't want my daughter around the Murdochs. Something might happen. You gotta think that, you know, the girlfriend, Brooklyn, her name is Brooklyn White.
I mean, I kind of get that though. Because, like, there's a lot of death that happened around that family, dude. There's a whole lot of death that happened around that family.
I believe. You got to think that Brooklyn White's parents, dad and mom, if she has them, family, somebody, is like worried for her. Or do they think Buster is just a charm? I don't know. Buster looks broken down. Defeated. I think he has a lot of legal trouble.
I love the deep thoughts over lettuce.
ahead for him. I don't think it's over. I think it's just beginning. Like someone said outside the courthouse when Alex was leaving court, "You're next," or "Buster is next." I don't think it's over. I don't think he just goes quiet into the night and just vanishes. I think the spotlight's going to shine on him. Shine bright like a bronze. Shine bright like a diamond. But he's no diamond. He's cold. No, I don't want to say that. Maybe I'll get cold for Christmas. Chick-fil-A was all right. It's kind of quiet here. I'm in the back little room. Check it out. VIP in my own little Chick-fil-A room. See? Nobody around. They're all over there. This is a private room. This is the JLR.
Really, bro?
Look.
Really, bro? Really?
It's not always roses, people.
Wow. So it's not always roses, people. So this guy is over here talking about that he's got the VIP section at Chick-fil-A. I'm VIP. All by myself. No, bro. Everybody gravitated the fuck away from you, bro. That's what happened. Place was probably empty when you walked in, and then everybody fucking saw you, and then they were like, let's get a table over there. Way the fuck over there. Nowhere near the fucking weirdo with the press and the media shit. Not, yeah. Let's get over there. What? Amanda Galusha, member for 1 month, got a new color today. This dude needs in prison. Agreed. Thank you so much.
But tonight, it's roses. I got a long drive ahead of me.
What the fuck are you talking about? He's like Chick-fil-A's just not really happening. Like, what are you expecting? A fucking party at a fast food restaurant? You expecting for it to be a happening spot over some fucking waffle fries? It's a party. I'm gonna get a spicy deluxe.
We'll share the content that I have with all of you that I've gathered throughout the day. We're covering the Alex Murdaugh case. This is not going away because he has more problems. We got to assure that Alex Murdaugh, we got to assure that the prosecutors on his case, on his fraud cases and his money scams and everything that he did, we have to reports are he just filed stalking report 2 hours ago. Nice. Got to keep the foot on the gas for.
Okay. So that's somebody in his chat right there. If I'm hearing that correctly, that's somebody in his chat right there that's saying that he reported stalking. And he's like, nice. That means they reported your dumbass, dude. That means that you're going to get the cops asking you questions about stalking. Like, he can only get away with this for so long. I don't understand. All it takes is for somebody with a rank in a police department to do a little homework on this guy and be like, oh, fuck this. We're locking this fool up. We're going to make an example out of this asshole.
Alex Murdaugh, make sure these prosecutors convict him on the fraud cases, so he can never, ever, ever get out of jail, just in case he somehow gets an appeal overturned. I don't think so.
Well,
I don't think he would.
Well, wait a minute. You did time for fraud, and you got out. That's interesting. So in what universe do you think that he's going to never, ever get out of jail because they arrest him for fraud? In what universe does the law work where they arrest you for fraud because they think you murdered somebody and then they keep you in jail forever and never let you out? They could just throw a charge at you and keep you in jail. Wow. Okay, buddy.
You know what? That Attorney General of South Carolina, I don't know his name, but after the verdict, he was down there, man. He was down there on the front. They were showing off. Creighton, prosecution team, and the Attorney General.
Of course they were.
Of South Carolina. They were all out there, the front of the courthouse, like bosses, saying, "We won." Like they were all flexing.
Yeah, that's called press exposure, bro. That's what a elected official will do when they win a case for the people who elected them. That means that that's probably more opportunity for them to get elected into a higher position in the city or county. Just, high profile cases are good for prosecutors when they win them. It's real good.
They were all flexing their muscles.
Yeah.
And there's no way
it's their job
that with that Attorney General and all that, selected prosecution team, there's no way he's going to get his conviction overturned. I don't think so. But there could be a possibility. You might get one of a couple judges, Supreme Court judges, and appeals court judges.
What the
South
fuck
Carolina
are you talking
that
about?
Sympathetic to the Murdaws.
Dude, he's got to appeal, man. Like, he's got to appeal. And they're going to go by the evidence. And it's too high profile of a case for somebody to be like, oh, well, you're a powerful guy and we go way back. So, I'll grant you an appeal. You can go. That's not how it works, dude. Like, these people, these prosecutors, they have a responsibility and they have an image. And since this is such a high profile case and all eyes are on them and people are demanding justice, they are not going to just let this guy go and overturn his fucking conviction. That's not how it works. The fuck are you talking about?
The Murdaugh family. And might get the case overturned, might not. I don't know. But I think the other fraud convictions is kind of like icing on the cake and just assurances that Alex Murdaugh never, ever, 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 ever gets out of prison again. So it's good. It's almost like a case closed, but it's not case closed. I think it's important to get these other cases. So we're going to shine lights. We're going to talk about this case. We're going to bring insight. Hopefully, there's some justice for Gloria Satterfield's family and her. And hopefully, there's justice coming soon for Stephen Smith. I think it was N. Smith. Stephen N. Smith.
Like, he doesn't care.
I don't know what the middle name is.
You don't care about justice for these people, dude. What are you talking about? You don't care about justice for these people.
Oh, that grave site next to Stephen Smith, there was a child that was only alive for 2 months. I wonder what that was about. I gotta look into that matter. Remember, I posted a live last night, and it was this child's grave site right next to Stephen Smith's, and it was a child that only lived for like 2 months. Who's on their way to Chick-fil-A now? I know, right? Chick-fil-A better be sending me some coupons for the plug. So,
Chick-fil-A don't want you tied to them.
Chick-fil-A, 1 spicy deluxe, 1 fries, 3 honey mustards, and a Dr. Pepper for the grand total of $10.33 at your local Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A is great. JLR endorses Chick-fil-A. This particular Chick-fil-A, I've had bad Chick-fil-A's, but this particular one in Pooler, Georgia is A-OK. Give it a 5-star review, thumbs up. I'll leave them a Facebook message. Maybe, just maybe, they send me some good Chick-fil-A. I was going to bring the employee over. Looks kind of serious, though. Looks kind of serious. So, yeah, I've been up since 6. This is going to be a 24-hour day for me. And I appreciate everyone with their support. And the following, we're having fun, right? We're having fun doing true crime. But the ice cream guy in
we're having
Hillsborough
fun
County,
doing true crime.
I think I want to know a little bit about this case. So I might look into that. So I don't have to travel far. I can hang out in Hillsborough County and show you the beautiful state of Florida and Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is pretty cool. It's beautiful. Lots of palm trees.
Bro, let me tell you something. I'm a Floridian, so I get to say this and not be apologetic towards people who are Tampa Bay residents or Tampa's a fucking armpit, dude. Tampa sucks. Like, it's terrible.
Use the water sparkling, clear water. I Facebook DM'd you, JLR. Yes, I will look and I will check my spam box if it's in my spam. A lot of times, a lot of messages, if we're not friends or connected, it goes into the spam box. Always check your spam box. People sometimes send messages you might not know that you're getting because they go to spam. And I don't consider any of you guys spam. You guys are good people. All of them.
Wow.
The ice cream truck case is crazy too. Yeah. We're looking into the ice cream truck case. I don't know. Maybe I'll do some reenactments down there. Maybe I'll try to talk to the guy, get in court, see what's up.
Reenactments.
An ice cream truck driver.
Reenactments.
That's kind of scary, right? It's always these people in like positions of trust. Well, the ice cream truck guy, you know. When I know about the ice cream truck, I'm thinking about the Jack and Jill truck that drives around with all the music and plays, and everyone runs out the ice cream. And this guy is an ice cream truck killer. It's like the FedEx guy down there in Texas. Got Athena Strand.
So,
all kinds of people in positions of.
So, fun fact, that song, very standard song that ice cream trucks play. That tune has lyrics to it, and it's one of the most racist fucking songs ever written. I don't know if they still like it's really messed up. Like, I don't even want to like play it. There's a YouTube video I can show you. It's really fucked up. Like, the lyrics are horrible. Like, you should, I mean, and I'm not saying to avoid an ice cream truck. I don't think anybody knows, you know, it's just a tune that plays. But apparently it's a song that was, oh God, forgive me for even, apparently it's a song that was originally composed to sell watermelon. I'll let you guys draw your own conclusions from that. Really racist shit. So just fun fact, whenever you hear that, Brother Preach, yeah, man, if I got the card, I'll play it. I'll show you, but it's really fucked up.
Of trust or jobs, corporations, and then they do bad things. The food was all right, but I'm gonna give it a thumbs up. I'm kind of hungry. I don't know if I'm gonna get dessert. Maybe I'll stop at Love's. Maybe I'll stop at Love's and get some fudge. Love's, best truck stop out there. Love's. I like Love's because it's, you know, it's yellow and it got the big heart. Makes you feel loved. And if you go into a Love's, when you walk in, normally I think their policy has the cashiers, right? When you walk in, they say, "Hey, welcome to Love's. Welcome to Love's." They do that, so it makes you feel welcome.
Okay, thanks, man. Appreciate that.
I like fudge. So that's the latest. Stay tuned.
I like
I'm gonna get
fudge.
back on the road. I just wanted to give you guys an update that Buster is.
I'm gonna stop and get fudge. I love fudge. Hold up. Let me look this up. You guys. All right. Okay. I don't know which one to click on here. Okay, I'm just gonna go with this one. I'm gonna go with this one. Oh my God.
For many people, chasing after the ice cream truck after hearing its now
All right,
famous
cool.
jingle is a summer ritual. But would you believe that the song actually has some racist origins?
Bruh. Look at the title. Bruh.
But when I first became aware of some sort of racist origin to the ice cream song, I just shook my head. I was just like, wow.
That's Devin L. Walker from The Uncle Devin Show. He's a music educator who has studied the racist origins of some of the most popular nursery rhymes today. He spoke with us about the problematic past of the Ice Cream Truck songs and other children's songs that have more devious histories than we'd expect.
It comes out of Europe. And it was a song that actually spoke more about animals. It was a song called Turkey in the Straw.
But in 1916,
by the way, all those dudes were fucking racist, I guarantee it.
vaudeville actor Harry C. Brown borrowed the melody and published a very different version.
He changed the lyrics to "Nigga want a watermelon, ha ha ha."
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Throughout the 19th and 20th
Oh my
centuries,
God,
minstrel
that
shows
was so
featured
bad.
white actors in blackface who sang these kinds of racist songs and played racist caricatures of black people, something that persists to this day around the country and the world. But in minstrel shows, music was what normalized the offensive messaging.
Anything and everything to continually.
Everything was racist back then, man. Like, dude, Tom and Jerry, so racist. Oh my God. Everything was racist back then.
Display
so fucked
the
up.
inferiority of Africans who were either slaves at the time or becoming free.
But how did such a vulgar jingle become the theme song of the ice cream truck we know and love today? Well, according to NPR, minstrel songs were just common in the ice cream parlors. Quote, after World War II, the advent of the automobile and the ensuing sprawl required parlors to devise a way to take their products to customers. Ice cream trucks were the solution, and a music box was installed in them as a way to announce their presence in neighborhoods. Which is why almost 200 years later, the pleasant, upbeat ice cream truck song is no longer closely associated with its dark and not so sweet origins. And this is far from the only racist song to come out of this era that sounds much different than what we know today.
But Zippity Doodah, Zippity Day is a minstrel song. Over the years, they've changed the lyrics. I know the 19th.
Think about it, but yeah, Tom and Jerry was real bad. Like, you don't remember Tom and Jerry cartoons where like Jerry would trick Tom into like smoking an exploding cigar, right? And then like the cigar would explode, and then Tom would basically be in blackface and have like these overly large lips, and it was just really fucked up. Like, I didn't think shit of it when I was a kid, you know? I didn't think anything of it, you know? And then I saw it like as a teenager, I think, and I was just like, oh my God, you know, insane, totally insane.
1945 Walt Disney Music Company. The first two refrains is Zippity Doodah, Zippity Day.
My, oh my, what a wonderful day.
It is about, like I say, Uncle Remus, who was a slave.
And wait, is Zippity Doodah racist? I had no idea. Hold on.
Even Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo has questionable origins.
But used to use black children as bait to catch alligators. Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo, I believe, is connected to that in the fact that it was a song about catching slaves as they ran away. Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo, catch a nigga by his toe.
Let him go. Eeny, meeny, miny,
Oh my God.
And there are many more. Devin's goal is to create new songs for black children that teach and inspire without having a problematic history behind it, notably through his radio station, We Nation Radio.
The thing is trying to educate our community about the importance that this music plays. And that's the hardest thing, because I don't care what genre of music you listen to, there is very little music dedicated to children.
But I love to eat them in my salad.
Right.
Or in some of my favorite.
Yeah, because these songs, you know, like these children's songs, they have these origins. They have these crazy origins, and then as just time just kind of like it almost kind of washes that away, more or less, or at least visibly. But I mean, it doesn't change the fact that these origins are what they are. And I think it's great that people are just taking that shit and redefining it.
Favorite foods.
So if there's one thing we can all scream for, it's ice cream. But I think we can do without the song. I'm Jacques Morel with Genius News, bringing you the meaning and the knowledge behind the music. At home. Peace.
I completely agree.
Buster is chicken. He's chicken. Buster's chicken. Bok, 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 bok. Buster. Buster's hiding at his girlfriend's house.
What the fuck is this guy talking about?
And he's playing chicken. And he doesn't want to speak to any media. Get some sleep. Yes, I need some coffee so I don't fall asleep on the road. But you guys are great. All of you. I see a lot of the same handles, the same profile. So,
bro,
you guys are great. Cool.
You're gonna get coffee, and after eating Chick-fil-A, you're gonna shit yourself on the roads. What's gonna happen, dude?
We're having fun. Flying J's cool.
We're having fun.
Flying J and Pilot. I like gloves though. Can't go wrong with gloves. Can't go wrong with gloves. All right, so I'm gonna empty the trash and I'm gonna get on the road. And if something breaks, you'll see I got Alex Murdaugh videos coming out. Murdaugh Island. Buster's neighbors yelling at me, getting triggered, shining flashlights in my face. It's so interesting though, because when these people come at me, I'm so cool, calm, and collected. They're the ones that get triggered by me. I'm just sitting there. I don't get it.
What do you mean you don't get it? You do it on purpose.
You're gonna catch me losing my cool. Great reporting. Yeah, it was a good day.
You absolutely get it.
Depth analysis and some back stories to stories and some backwoods.
See, he's deceiving his audience right there. You absolutely get it. You absolutely know exactly what you're doing. You're getting exactly the response and reactions that you want from the people that you're harassing. That's exactly what's happening.
Woods looks and some trees and crime scenes, and that's what I'm trying to do. So let me know the next case. What are we doing next? What's next? What's next? Still gonna, I'm monitoring the Moscow, Idaho case, but the Moscow, Idaho case, there's lack of information. So all we're just doing on that one is seeing if they're going to lift the gag order, and if they lift the gag order, maybe we'll get some more information or wait all the way up to the preliminary hearing. We're just going to assume, really, these media outlets are going to put out probably more, according to sources close to the investigation, with stuff that I'm not really going to take it. I'm going to process it and that, keep an open mind, but not going to necessarily believe anything that comes out in that route. Dylan Rounds. Where is Dylan Rounds? But it seems like Dylan Rounds' his family. I know Justin Rounds. I know his dad. I'm friends with him on Facebook. But it seems like this family don't really want to.
Lisa Maxwell, thank you for the super sticker. I appreciate that. So I find it really funny that he's sitting here talking about how the Moscow case, there's no new information, so why talk about it? Dude, there hasn't been new information. Long before the Alec Murdaugh trial, there hasn't been any new information, but it didn't stop you from just making shit up. But now all of a sudden, are you trying to say that you're Mr. Integrity now and you're just waiting for new information to come out? No, dude.
Search for him. I mean, I guess you would want closure, but I wasn't. I never impeded on that family as far as I just go up there and go look around. I would only do it if I had their blessing. But I think they should do a thorough search somewhere within a radius between there and Nevada, that town over on the other side of Nevada, all in that area, and James Brenner's empty property that's like really on the borderline and all that terrain in between. Look for the guy, but he's mountainous terrains, and now we're going towards almost a year. Gonna come up. Chad and Lori Daybell. Well, Lori Vallow Daybell.
I mean, the thing is with the Dylan Rounds case, now I haven't followed it too closely, but they caught the guy. They made an arrest in the Dylan Rounds case. So I would imagine that there's something on the table to where, or at least a tactic that they're probably going to use in order to get him to tell where Dylan's body is. So I don't. This guy, what the fuck he's talking about? All you have to do is just apply a little common sense and a little experience in following some of these cases in the past, and you'll.
Well, her case is coming up next month. It's already March. I can't believe March is already coming. Like I just said the other day, it's the end of February. Now it's already like March. You know, we're getting almost a quarter way through March already. Time flies, I guess. Gotta appreciate each.
Yeah. Tyra, yeah. Tyraya. I'm sorry. I was trying to pronounce your name properly. Yeah, he was arrested, or he did time for basically stealing money, and running a scam. He was stealing people's personal information, and yeah, I can't remember exactly what the details were, but watch this. I'm leaving a link in the chat. I've been dropping it. Watch this video and you'll get the whole scoop on this guy and what he was in prison for.
Each day, because we're only on this earth a certain amount of time. We don't know when we're going to go, but we're only on this earth a certain amount of time, so we got to utilize our time while we're here. I want to do it constructively because I am concerned. I want my soul judged. I'm a believer in getting my soul judged, and I'm a believer in redeeming myself for the bad mistakes I made.
Yeah, as I understand it, he did a total of 13 years. He did 10 years for stealing money, and then he did another 3 for violating his probation.
Only on this earth for a certain amount of time, and time flies. We can't take these time. We can't take this all back. We can't take our times back. We can cherish the memories and cherish what we go through. We cannot take this time back.
Oh my
very
God,
important
dude.
to utilize our time. I try to do that.
See, I find that really ironic, Jonatalia Lee Riches. I find that really ironic that you're sitting here talking about how valuable time is, and here you are, which with every action, you are risking your time, your time of freedom. You're risking any that you have left to walk around freely by doing the same shit you were doing before. I mean, it's incredible. It's incredible that you're sitting here talking about valuing your time here on earth while you have it, because you can't get your time back, but yet you're wasting yours just dancing on the line of going to jail. At any given moment, you just cross that line just a little bit and you're going to wind up right back where you were for 13 years. It's incredible to me.
Days, I mean, it seems like days fly. It seems like before you know it, day's over. Like I remember I just got up this morning, it was just getting started, and then now it's dark. Now the day went down. We're only human, JLR. I agree. We're only human. Life is too short. In the grand scheme of things, life is very, very short. We're just passing through it. Just like a blip. But it's whenever it's never too late either to make a difference. We're not, you could be however old you are, you can still do what you want to do, or your aunt.
See, and then he does this shit where his idiot followers see him as inspiring in some way, giving the sound advice, but not paying attention to the fact that he's not following his own advice at all. It's very interesting, because there's the thing is he's speaking the truth. It's just not truthful coming from him. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes. See, I try to live my life with the understanding that there is a 400 trillion to 1 chance of you being born, of you existing in human form on this earth, and being blessed with a life. Okay, there is a 400 400 trillion to 1 chance. And that right there is, it should serve as motivation to not take your life for granted and to do the best that you can with it. I just recently learned this. I don't want to change my personality. I could still be kind of crude and rough around the edges, but at the end of the day, I'm a good person and I don't hurt people. And I don't say anything that is untrue about people. And if it's negative, it's because you do shit like he does and like BHB does and like MGL does, where I call you out on you being a shitty person. See, that puts me guilt-free. I'm not lying about anything. I'm showing your content. I'm showing facts about you. And some might say, hey, that's even a waste of time. But is it? Because, I mean, if I could just get one of his followers to see him for what he is, you could be saving a life. Possibly. Maybe. But I'd rather take that chance than just sit around and do nothing and just let people like this just tarnish the name, the image of this entire community to the outside world. Because the fact of the matter is these things are these situations that happen are extremely tragic, and real people were affected by them. And there are people out there that have these horrible experiences and they have to live with it. And now that it's in the public eye, for some reason, the general consensus is it's a free-for-all. Now they're public people, so game on. Now they're in the public eye, so game on, anything goes. When it shouldn't be like that. We should have enough decency to be able, and enough common sense and decency, a balance between the two, to be able to differentiate the people that actually are involved in this case, in these cases, and the people that are not. I mean, it's just pathetic that he's going to sit here and talk about how he's doing such good things, and he's not. Because there's people that he targets that are going through a horrible tragedy and trying to learn how to cope with it. And he's going based on the narrative that hey, they're public figures. I have the right. I can talk about them. Legally, I could talk about them. Okay, maybe legally you're not breaking the law necessarily. Okay, fine. Let's just say, for argument's sake, that's true. But on a moral level, you're definitely not empathizing with people who have gone through something that you would never know how to deal with. The only type of people that you've ever actually spent any real time around were people that you were locked up with, who were on the ass end of, or who were on the aggressive end of that. People who victimized other people and they were in jail for it. And you spent time with them. Why? Because you're one of those people. So this little fucking facade about you being this great person and being this kind person that's trying to help people, well, it's bullshit. We all see right through it. Because Dylan is a victim in this situation. Regardless of whether she should have called 911 earlier or not, blah, 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 blah. Doesn't matter. She lost 4 of her friends. And she wasn't the person to do it. She lost 4 of her friends at a young age under the same roof where she was living, and she could have been killed too. And by the grace of God, she wasn't. And that you think that that's makes it justifiable to attack her? Dickheads like you, dickheads like Harsh Reality, you think it's okay to just create these insinuations that she did something that she's in some way responsible for the death of her friends? Who are you to pass judgment like that?
and ambitions and aspirations, you can still do it. I'm 46 years old. So I would assume that most people 46 years old that are just getting started on a career or something. I guess I'm starting on a career of YouTube, right? True crime, passion, helping victims, bringing awareness. I guess that's a new career at 46, but I don't feel like it's too late. It was great timing. I think I was put in the right position to be where, but I'm told that are just getting started on a career or something. I guess I'm starting on a career of YouTube, right? True crime, passion, helping victims, bringing awareness. I guess that's a new career.
That's not a career, bro. And you're not helping victims. And you're not passionate about anything except spreading misinformation. Like you bragged about deliberately spreading misinformation.
At 46, but I don't feel like it's too late. It was great timing. I think I was put in the right position to be where I'm at now. Never too late.
See, this asshole thinks that he's Alex Jones. Yeah, doesn't like he's so arrogant to think, okay, I could do exactly what Alex Jones was doing, except I'm not going to get in trouble for it. But Alex Jones, he's done. That guy has no credibility left at all because he's being held accountable for what he said about the Sandy Hook murders. And he thinks because he was never held accountable, and that's just because not enough people knew who he was, because he was never actually held accountable, that there's nothing wrong with what he's been doing and what he continues to do.
So it's pretty cool. Hopefully I'll be doing this for the next 20 years. Maybe I'll get into something else. But all of you, it's never too late for anything. Never too late for anything. You can do anything you put your mind to. It's really easy. It's just like you gotta surround yourself with good people, and you gotta have belief that you can accomplish your goal.
All of a sudden, this guy's a fucking after-school special. He's a PSA now.
And you got to put forth effort. You got to work too. No inspiration talk here and there. My life's all right right now. And I run around solo. Kind of cool. And I got a cat waiting for me. With a fish. Fish coming.
I got a fish coming.
Every day is a school day. You can do it.
I got a kitty cat. Every day is a school day. And I got a kitty cat and I got a fishy that I'm going to get to. I got a fish and a kitty cat. And I hope that the kitty cat doesn't try to eat my fish because I got kitty cat home and I got a fishy. And yeah. I can't wait to go home and be with my fishy and my kitty cat.
Look at all your positive feedback. Look at all that. I love it. Thank you. You guys just motivated me to work harder. So yeah, Alex Murdaugh, he's a chicken too. Alex Murdaugh's never going to
He's a chicken.
What he did.
He's a chicken.
He was defiant all the way up to the end. I didn't do it. He's going to go around and say to everyone that wants.
He was defiant up until the end because he paid lawyers to defend him and try to get him off of a murder charge. Of course, he was going to be defiant all the way up to the end.
To listen to him in prison. I didn't do it. He's going to tell the jail,
of course,
nurses and the staff when he goes gets his TV shots and the dentist if they have one in prison. I didn't do it, or his barber that shaved his head. He probably told that guy to shave his head in his newest mugshot. I didn't do it. I'm innocent. I didn't kill Maggie or Papa. Barber's like, yeah, right. Give me your head. You are inmate number blah 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 blah. We own you now. You're state property. Murdaugh. They have to stand for count. One of the things that sucked when I was in prison. This is just in federal prison. I was in federal prison. Is on the weekends. Every morning at 10 a.m. you got to stand for count, and you got to stand for count 3 times a day: 10 a.m., 4 p.m., and 10 p.m. So you're almost always like on edge because you got to stand. Because if you don't stand, you get write-ups, you get locked up and put in a hole or whatever. But you got to stand. You got to stand up. So if you're sleeping,
prison wisdom.
You get up out of your sleep. Stand for count. Stand up, count. Sometimes you got to stand there for 10 minutes. While the person's going through count.
It is a weird flex.
So I'm sure his prison too, they're going to do head, stand count. Some state prison, they might do it at 5 a.m. You might have to get up every morning.
I love that shit too. I love these there's like this whole like ex-con community on YouTube too, which is just fucking weird to me. I mean, I guess there's an audience for everything. There's a lot of ex-cons and a lot of ex-cons that probably watch YouTube. So it makes sense that they'd have people on there that they'd relate to. But just like to be flexing about knowing so much about prison is just so fucking weird. I wouldn't want to even think about it.
I mean, just a Stanford count. That's real bad. That's horrible alone. You know, when he's going through that process center, you know, a lot of state facilities, when you go through a process, like he's going, I think he's at Kirkland, and then he'll get classified, he'll do psychological tests and whatnot, and then he'll get classified and they'll put him in a maximum security prison. But a lot of times when you're in these processing centers like that, they shower, but there's so many people coming through that they only let you get 2-minute showers. Like literally, like they basically, you get into the cell and then the guard will be there like wash off, wash on, wash off kind of deal. And you got 30 seconds to scrub yourself, 30 seconds for water, and they actually
That's
control the
right.
water.
That's right, because you don't need more than 2 minutes to fucking scrub yourself and rinse off, bro.
It's insane. Who would want to live like that? But it exists. Right? But we're not doing that. We take long showers. If you pay your water bill, you want a hot shower, make sure you pay your water bills too. I like hot showers.
Pay your water
go home
bills.
and have a hot shower. Hot cocoa, hot shower.
I'm gonna go home.
Tired. All right, good night.
I'm gonna take a bath. I'm gonna take a bath and I'm gonna play with my rubber ducky. I'm gonna take a bath and I'm gonna have some hot cocoa. I'm gonna warm up with some hot cocoa. Hot cocoa sounds good. Hot cocoa sounds real good. Oh my god, I can't get over this dude, bro. Like it's just so easy to it's just so easy to review this guy. What's up down the rabbit hole news? You got here too late, man. I'm about to call it. But in summary, okay, as we all already know, JLR's a douche. He is the discarded severed part of a penis in the Bobbitt case. He's a dick stump, as we know. That has not changed. But in regards to what this video is initially about and what it was mostly about was this letter that we know exists, but we haven't seen in regards to that was written by Roberta Laundrie to her son, Brian. And the question is whether or not, now, the reason why this came up is because people are saying that she spoke out. Technically, she didn't really speak out. She addressed the court, and that court record is public record. So she didn't really speak out. You know, it wasn't like she put out a press release. It's just that she she wrote a letter to the court explaining as to why she doesn't want the letter to be entered into evidence in her civil case that she is the defendant of. And so that's it. Because the court's public record, we are all privy to what she wrote the court. It's simple. But based on what she said and the dates that she gave and who she said the letter was in possession of at the time, I believe her. I don't believe that had anything to do with Gabby's case. Not to say that I don't think that she is and Chris, her husband, are not to say that they're not responsible to some degree and should be held accountable for certain actions. But I don't believe that the letter itself, based on how she's planning on proving that, I don't believe she would say those things unless they could be proven. You can't say that. It would be a crazy thing to do, an insane, irrational thing to do, to say that a letter was in the possession of the FBI in between certain specific dates, without expecting that to be somehow proven. So I don't think she would be able to say that, or she would even bother saying that unless it could be backed up. So I believe her in the sense that I don't think that the letter had anything to do with Gabby. And even if it did, apparently, if it was in the FBI's possession, it can't be proven that that letter is somehow proof that they had something to do with covering up Gabby's murder and having any type of knowledge or helped facilitate covering it up. There's nothing in that letter that would indicate that, maybe, or at least nothing that could be proven from that, or else she would be under arrest. I mean, it's too high profile of a case, and people want answers, and people want justice, and Gabby's family wants justice, and Gabby's family, as I've stated many times, and most YouTubers covering this case have stated many times, that Gabby's family has been, the Petitos and the Schmitz have been extremely classy and very, very just wonderful throughout this whole thing. Just very, very calm and very chill and very composed. And focused on what actually matters. And what actually matters to them is that this doesn't happen to someone else. And they are driven to make sure that that doesn't happen to another family. So I am in full support of the Petitos and the Schmitz overall, but I don't believe that this letter, at least at this point, I don't believe that this letter has anything to do with Gabby's demise. So anyways, guys, I love you guys very much. I love hanging out with you guys as always. I don't know what I'm going to go live about next, but you can guarantee that we will be doing this again very soon, my friends.